Have you ever wished you could add your own custom methods to an existing classes in Flutter without modifying their source code? Or maybe you are tired of writing same utility functions over and over? Well, that's exactly what extension methods offers. So in today's video, I dive into an extension methods, a powerful yet underrated feature in that. So with that said, let's jump right in. Yeah, extension method helps you add functionality to an existing classes or libraries. So here are sample examples I'm about to show you and how it works. Yeah, so let me first of all show you a scenario over here. So over here I have a variable that holds a string of a name and I pass the value to a text widget, right? So let's see the various methods on this value. You can see the length, checks for the length and also whether the string is empty or not, and some various methods, the trim, replace, or you can see everything. But what if I want different? I want to capitalize the first letter, or maybe I want to get the initials of the string given. That's where the extensions come in. So if you want to achieve that, you need to write it on top of the string class. Right, so let me show you the example over here. So to write the extension, you can see the various methods in here. This capitalizes the first letter. You write extension, then the name of the extension on the string, right? So the first one capitalizes the first letter. So based on the instance of that class, that refers to this, and convert it to uppercase and add a substring. And also this is a getter method that get the initials of the string given, right? And the last one checks for whether the string is email or not. So if you try to access these values, so value dot, and I try to capitalize the first letter, you can see the method appears, and that's our custom extension we just wrote, right? And that's the beauty about the extension methods. You can also check for other thing, right? So let me just change this and run it and see the effect of it. Yeah, so you can see the capitalized first letter method on the value. You can see it changes to capital J. So let's try and use the getter approach to get initials on the string. So I'll be adding one more additional name to this, which is going to be John Dakwa. Yeah, so over here, let's try and get the initials of the string that is passing. So to do that, you can use and get the initials. So remember, by default, we don't have the initials on the string. We wrote a custom extension to achieve that, and this will get us JD, as you can see over there. And lastly, let's check for the validity of a string that is being passing, whether it's email or not, right? So remember, the return type of the string is a boolean, right? So we check for the value. If the value dot is email, then this basically returns true or false. So if the value dot is email is true, we are going to return true. And if it's false, we are going to return false in here, right? And when you're saving the change, you can see by default it's false. So I'll be typing in a valid email over here, and that's going to be john@gmail.com. And once I save in the changes over here, you can see you have the true value, right? Yeah, so let's move on to the next one. So we can write extensions on the number class. So for this example, we have extension number formatting on the number class, and this we have a method that convert the number with commas, right? So if you have a number that's greater or equal to 1000, you're going to have comma in that. So let's try that out. So I'm going to change in the value over here to be a number that's going to be 3000, for example, and I'm going to render the 3000 in the text widget, so I can access dot with commas over here. So value dot with commas, and there you go, we can see the comma, right? So let's pass in a higher value and see the commas. There we go, you can see it over there. So now you can see the beautiful thing about the extension, right? So you can write your custom extension to suit your needs, and you can also write extension on widgets, right? So I have an example here, widget extension, and this returns the padding widget with a default padding of 8, and you can also pass in a padding as well. So the child is going to be this, and this refers to the instance on the widget, right? So we do same thing, a getter to center the widget and also give the widget a background color. and also an on top using the gesture detector and passing the this that refers to the instance. So let's try that out over here. So the test is a widget, right? So we can apply with padding on it. So test dot with padding. There we go. So when you do it, by default it's going to have a value of 8, right? Edge instead of all with a value of 8. You can also pass in your custom padding as well, and you can also center this as well, and you can also apply a background color using dot with background color. And all these things are coming from our custom extensions we just wrote, right? So with background color, you can pass in a background color of blue, and you can see the effect. So let's try with one other example, which is the on top functionality, right? So we want to add on top to the test widget. So we can add dot with on top, and this takes in a function, right? It's a function that, so for now let's just print some kind of value. So with tab, then we can print a message, maybe tapped, right? So let's give it a try. So once I save in the changes over here, let me format it very well. So once I click on the text and pop up the console, you can see a multiple tab print on the console, right? So you can write extensions on widgets, and again you can also write extensions on context, the build context. So this example we show the snack bar, right? Scaffold dot off this, and this basically refers to the class, the instance of the class we are referring to. So you can see each of our example we are using this, right? So instead of passing the context, it's going to be this. So we have a button over here that will display the snack bar, right? So in here we are going to use the context dot show snack bar, right? So you can see we have the show snack bar on the context, and you can basically pass in your message in here, and this hides the implementation of what you're about to do, right? So when you try and show a snack bar, you can see the snack bar appears. So you can do this with modal sheets. You can write extensions on that and you are good to go. So the last example here is to writing extensions on DateTime, right? So by default we don't have is today and also the time ago on the DateTime class. And if you want to have that functionality, let's try that out. I've just created an example of date at the top over here that subtracts the DateTime dot now a value of 6 hours, right? So if I decide to render the date in a test widget, then call my getter is today, right? So it's today, basically the return type of that is a boolean, right? So we can check for that. So if date dot is today, we can return true, else you can return false. Yeah, so if you save in the changes over here, you can see you have a true statement. So let's try with one more example, and that's going to be the time ago, right? So example's sake, we can just access the time ago on this. You can see it's going to be 6 hours. So if I change this to be maybe in minutes, right, and saving the changes, it's going to be 6 minutes over here. So this is just mimicking it, right? So you can actually use that in your implementation. So that's basically it. See you in our next tutorial. Until then, stay tuned.